While you're getting yourself situated, if you do have them, I suggest having a couple blocks that can be really helpful. If you don't have blocks, I would suggest having, you could use soup cans, you could use, I have this little stool that I use quite frequently, so you can be very creative with how you're going to practice today. And of course, my favorite thing is towards the end, we're going to be doing some Yoga Nidra. So I would grab a pillow and I would grab any kind of blankets, anything that you can make yourself really comfortable. So situate yourself with that now. If you haven't done Yoga Nidra, it's called yogic sleep. And 20 minutes of doing Yoga Nidra is the equivalent of getting a whole cycle of REM. And it's not just me that's coming up with that, although I wish I could. But there's been many studies on it. It's just this guided meditation, and you're going to flow in and out of consciousness and awareness. And it's totally appropriate if you do nod off or you get distracted or fall asleep. It's okay. I will bring you back and you'll just get a nice taste of it. If you choose to listen to music, I did give Donna a playlist, so feel free to put that on in the background, nice and soft. Or maybe you don't practice with music. Sometimes that can be its own interesting challenge. So I want to encourage you to get down on your back, on the mat, and you might choose to just come into this restful, constructed rest position. So the feet might open up wide, the knees not together. The hands might go by your sides, and you just let your back rest on the mat. If it feels better for you to offer yourself the pillow underneath your knees or blocks underneath the calves, that can feel quite lovely if your legs feel better being extended. And I want you to offer yourself this opportunity to let the eyes become heavy. Notice the weight, the pressure on the lids as it falls through the eyes. Let the jaw become really, really soft. And just notice what it feels like to unglue your tongue from the roof of your mouth. To let all the muscles in the face, the jaw, the brow, let them all become slack and heavy. And let that wave of softening just roll over the body. The arms become really limp. All the way down through the fingertips, so soften the palms. And just notice the chest, the rhythm at which the belly rises and falls. Notice the breath as it enters in through the nostrils and the way that the fabric feels against your skin, the temperature in the air against any exposed skin. What is it like for you to be here now in this moment? What's going on with you today, right here and right now? Notice what it feels like for you to be in your space where there might be distractions, and to just step back and to become that observer and to not get too drawn in to the distractions, but just to notice how they affect you. And start to encourage the breath to grow. As you inhale, let the belly blossom open. The ribs start to spread, the chest expands. And as you exhale, draw your navel in towards your spine. Let the ribs knit together and the chest to just gently fall. As you inhale, expand belly, ribs, chest. Everything grows and stretches. Breath fills the whole cavity of the chest. And as you exhale, just draw that navel in towards the spine. Notice if there's any tension that's in the shoulders and let it soften. Continue to just let that breath grow. Let it stretch and expand, noticing if you're holding on, especially to the belly area. Sometimes we keep drawing it in. Let it become soft and open and stretchy. Maybe these breaths are the first deep breaths that you've taken all day. And it can feel like a welcome visitor to stretch all the way around the heart, to cushion the heart space. And just give yourself 2 more long, slow breaths in, lengthening the inhale and surrendering into the exhale. And 1 more deep breath in. And a slow breath out. And just give yourself a deep breath in through the nose. And then on the exhale, open up your mouth and just let it go. And take another deep breath in. And follow that breath out. And another deep breath in. And just blow out any air that you need to. And just gently start to expand and stretch those arms overhead, reaching them away, circling out the wrists, the ankles. Notice what the body is saying to you in this moment. Sometimes we rush so much through life that we miss out on the soft conversations our body's trying to have with us. And then gently bring those knees into the chest. Hands are going to come on top of the shins. You can either let those knees rock side to side, or you might start to circle them around in a breaststroking action. The hands can help guide, or they might just gently caress the legs as the legs move around. Notice where there's any kind of residual tension that's hanging on. And I love at the beginning of every practice just to explore where the body is. So if I'm guiding you in a way and you're called to do something else, I encourage you to creatively explore what your body is saying to you, because what it has to say is wisdom. And then maybe you kick the legs up to the sky. The back of the legs might feel like threads of tension working down the back of them. So bending and straightening the legs, offer breath to any sharp edges of a stretch that you might feel. Always offering up, circling out ankles, wiggling the toes. And then bring the soles of the feet down to the mat and let the knees drop both open to the right side in a very loose stretch. Feel the tension or any kind of stretch that might happen within the left hip. As that left knee comes in, the hip has an internal rotation. As you inhale, let the knees lift up, and as you exhale, drop them over to the left. Noticing if it feels better to stack the knees or to move them somewhere different, I encourage you, explore. Be curious as to what the inner workings of your body, what they want. And maybe that's what this quarantine, this isolation is about, is coming back home to what it is that we want. Lift up those knees, coming into a bridge formation. Let the hands go by the hips and just gently see if you can hug those shoulder blades in towards each other. Press the lower back into the mat and then start to lift the hips up to the sky, coming into your bridge. See if you can imagine that the back of your tailbone is shooting behind the backs of the knees, anchoring through the heels, the balls of the feet, a gentle squeeze coming through the glutes. Soften the jaw, soften the shoulders. And as you exhale, starting with the top of the spine, curl down as slowly as you can. At the very bottom, just allow there to be space between the mat and the lower back. We're just going to go 2 more times. So press the lower back into the mat, press into the arms, and as you scoop the hips up towards the sky, press into the heels and encourage that awareness in the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves. You know, what footprint is happening right here? Maybe you imagine you're in sand. And as you exhale, curling through the spine, move as slowly as you can. Maybe you match breath with the motion. So the breath isn't an afterthought, it's what propels our body to move. 1 more time, swoop the abs, press into the heels, lift the hips up to the sky, create space between your chin and your chest. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, curl down nice and slowly, noticing if it moves smoothly or if there's a choppiness to the body. It's all good. Hug those knees into the chest. And then gently rock the knees over to one side or the other, coming into a fetal position. Close your eyes for just 1 moment. And then let your hand, top hand, go onto the mat, and then press yourself up to your seated position. And as you do, coming into Sukhasana, cross-legged position, you might choose to bring that pillow or block underneath your hips if that feels like a better place for you. We want to make sure our knees are lower than our hips, and even a gentle rocking from side to side. Notice the 2 anchor points of the hips and lift up through the crown of the head. On your inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Maybe the gaze follows them up. As you exhale, hands are going to come palms together down that center channel. As you inhale, reach up, flare your nostrils like you're smelling flowers first thing in the morning, or coffee. Exhale. It's the beauty. We're going to go 2 more times of spring. So many beautiful smells. Like I smell nature blooming, and I love that hands to the heart space. And I think let's do it 1 more time just for funsies. Reach up, hold them up at the top, circle out the wrists, and maybe encourage a lifting up from one arm to the next. So the shoulders have a little bit of movement here. And then let the hands float down. Hands are going to come towards the knees. And if you want to remove yourself from the block or the prop for this position, go for it. And we're going to start to create the torso goes to the right, forward, left, and circles around. So it should feel like there's a nice massage coming to the lower back. And maybe you keep your eyes closed and you just tune into the experience of what it's like to be you rather than any kind of expectation. Because if we don't feel good from the inside out, then it doesn't matter what we look like. So just tune into the breath, into the movement. The head, neck, shoulders can go along for the ride, and you can just allow for this primal energy, this creature, just to explore and be curious. And when you're ready, just go in the opposite direction. Notice if you stop breathing, encourage just a little bit more airflow. And then coming into center, bring your hands to your shoulders. And on your inhale, let those elbows and the shoulders loop up. As you exhale, hug them down and back. And 3 more times. Inhale, let them lift up. And then exhale, down and back. And 2 more times. Here, I always feel like there's a grittiness that happens in my shoulders. And think about, if you want your body to loosen and to soften up, sometimes we have to be kinder and sweeter to it. On your inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. This time, as you exhale, you're going to bend your elbows, let the thumbs press back, draw the shoulders away from the ears. Hold it for the inhale. Breathe all the way up to the top of the heart space. Let the air cushion the heart. And exhale. Inhale, release the hands to the knees. Let your eyes close. And notice what's in your heart right now. Your intention for coming here tonight. Maybe you lean into that intention and let it be what guides you for practice. And maybe if nothing comes to mind for you today, maybe it is just to be curious. On your inhale, slowly reach the arms up to the sky. As you exhale, hands are going to float down. You're going to come into your tabletop position. So in tabletop, you might choose to tent the hands, fist them, or palm straight down. Or if you have those 2 blocks, you might even come onto those 2 blocks. It's a beautiful position here, and it takes a lot of the pressure away from the wrists. Wherever you are, I want you to engage the arms and press the palms away. So they're pushing down into the mat, so it actually takes the pressure away from the wrist quite a bit. And on your inhale, let the tailbone lift, the belly lower, the chest opens up towards the front of your mat, and imagine the front of your arms are trying to face towards the front of your mat, so those elbows press back. As you exhale, tuck the pelvis, round the back, push the hands into the ground, and shift the weight slightly back towards the heels. As you inhale, tailbone lifts. Chest opens, the shoulders slide away from the ears, the elbows kind of reach back towards those legs. And as you exhale, tuck the pelvis, round the back, slightly press hips to heels. We're going to just go 2 more times, keeping those eyes closed. Notice what happens within the body. So when we move at a slower pace, we can feel insecure, because we're not rushing around, but that's the place where growth happens. That's the place, in a quiet place, is where we can feel and hear and listen. And it can feel scary and it can feel fabulous. On your next inhale, slowly come back to center. And we're going to take and reach that right arm up to the sky. As you exhale, slowly let the hand go to the back of your mat, down to the ground. So we're spiraling the shoulder around, forward to the front of your mat, and straight up to the sky. Inhale, exhale to the back of your mat, down to the ground, forward and up. One more time, and maybe the gaze follows the hand around as you circle it. And if you get off of my breaths, it doesn't matter. We're just moving. Inhale, arms straight up to the sky. And as you exhale, we're going to thread the needle, but don't land it. See if you can reach that right hand as far as you can to the left side of your mat. Inhale, reach up tall. And then as you exhale, thread the needle, don't land it, reach it. See if every time you breathe, you can create more space within the back, within the chest, within that right shoulder. This time, as you thread the needle, land down onto the right shoulder. Even wiggle the tailbone around. Notice what it feels like to apply weight onto that right shoulder. And you always have the option here to express yourself in any way. So maybe you float the left arm up to the sky, circle out the fingers, the wrists. Or you can even step that left foot to the back of your mat and notice what that feels like, finding this awkward type of balance. Maybe the left leg lifts if that feels all right for you. And know that there's no pressure from me. There's just this opportunity to explore. And many times in the
crazy, quote unquote normal life, we don't have that chance. So what does all of this afford us the opportunity to do? Release the left hand and left knee down, and on your inhale, come into that three-legged tabletop position, right arm up to the sky, and as you exhale, float the right hand down to the mat. Situate yourself again in case you move. So knees are stacked, hips are on top, knees underneath, right underneath, hands and shoulders are nice and stacked. Inhale, take that left arm, reach it up to the sky. And as you exhale, let the hand go to the back of your mat, down to the ground, forward to the front, and up to the sky. Then back, down, forward, and up. And one more time, just circle it around. And then the next time you have the arm up to the sky, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, thread the needle. Don't land it. Just see if you can reach. Explore what it's like reaching to that right side. Inhale, left arm sweeps up. And as you exhale, reach as far as you can to the right side of your mat. One more time. Inhale, reach it up. And then as you exhale, land the left shoulder down on the mat. Notice what happens with the hips. Wiggle those tailbones, or just your one tailbone that you have. Again, that right hand might lift up. The right leg might step back or lift up. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe just find stillness and breath. And just be sweet to your body. Give yourself one more breath. And out. Pressing and releasing the right hand down, right knee down. As you inhale, lift that left arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, float the hand down. From here, we're going to come down onto our forearms. We're going to come into our puppy position. So the elbows and the shoulders are stacked right here. The knees are underneath the hips, and you're going to lift the tailbone up to the sky. This can feel like a very vulnerable position to be in, but this is really great for the lower back, and especially if you find yourself seated a lot or doing anything that's, out of the norm, this is a good place to go. Start to allow for those knees to walk back, and then as they do, let the chest start to sink down towards the mat. You have the opportunity here to press the palms in towards each other, and the hands are going to lift up above the head. So we're pressing into the elbows potentially and inviting the chest to sink down towards the mat. This takes back that hunched position that sometimes we find ourselves in. It also stretches out our triceps, our shoulders, offers an opening of the lower back. Give yourself just 2 more breaths right here. And out. Notice where you meet resistance, whether it's here on the mat or whether it's outside of this space that you're creating. Our attitude towards what happens to us, the resistance that we face in life, creates our own reality. Slowly release the hands down. Now push yourself forward and then slowly drop down onto your belly. We're going to come into Sphinx, and you might have to readjust yourself by walking those elbows forward. There shouldn't be any pressure on the lower back, and if there is, just give a slight tuck to the pelvis. Notice how by tucking the pelvis and not pushing down into the belly, that tuck of the pelvis lengthens the lower back. Now push down into the elbows, a slight tuck to the chin. Take a deep breath in right here and out. So doing back bends is a very beautiful thing for us to do if you're over the age of puberty. Working on back bends is really important for back health. Take a deep breath in and out. Now take your hands, you're going to stack them And you're going to bring it right in front of the forehead. Drop your forehead down and bend your knees. Windshield wiper the feet from side to side. So the hips have what's called a circumduction, hips and shoulders, which means they go around in a whole 360 degree of angles and stretch and opening. And it's important for us to lubricate the joint any way we can. You know, we think of ourselves in the society of go, go, go. When we slow down, it feels indulgent, but it's necessary. Release your hands under your shoulders and press yourself up, tabletop position. And then from here, we're gonna step our right foot to the back of the mat, dig the toe into the earth, give yourself a slight rocking forwards and backwards, pressing into the heel, shifting forward. And then slowly bring yourself into a neutral position and lift up the right foot at hip height. So without having the aid of a mirror and maybe closing your eyes, it can be interesting to trust ourselves because habit is going to take you to one place, and that's the place we've already been. So exploration, maybe drop the hip down or lift it up and test the ends of the spectrum. And then see if you can neutralize it. And it's usually a lot lower than you think. Push the ground away with the hands. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, curl the right knee into the chest. Now see if you can step that right foot towards the front of your mat. So this is a good opportunity. If you have those blocks, grab them. It makes the ground just a little bit higher. And just gently walk the right foot forward just a little bit. If you don't have blocks, light fingertip action also is great. And then see what it feels like for you to let those hips sink down, the shoulders to hug away from the ears. And we're not dumping into our joints, but just finding a loose stretch. So we always want to come to a place where you could go further, but we don't. And if you are a super flexible person, take the front heel and back knee, squeeze them into each other. Notice a whole different spectrum of sensations evolve from there. Take a deep breath in. Now on your next exhale, I want you to press the hips back, straightening the front leg. The blocks can come back to frame the knee or go anywhere that feels comfortable. We're coming into a half split. I want you to draw the right hip back, the left hip forward a little bit. Or even imagine underneath the right heel is a bullseye and you're pressing into the heel and you're trying to encourage the inner thighs to spiral towards each other. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, maybe you start to hinge softly and slowly over the right extended leg. And as you do that, you might wiggle those hips around. Notice where the sensation bubbles up to the surface. And whether it feels like it's something that's serving you or something you should let go of. It's mindfulness that we bring into this. As you inhale, slowly plant the right foot down. Blocks, bring them back to the front. Drop the left hand down and then spiral the right arm up to the sky. If this is too much pressure for the left hand, just come onto fingertips. That can feel like a really good place to go. Draw the shoulders away from the ears and imagine you're reaching up high with that right hand. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, bring the right hand inside of the right foot. Step that right foot back. Coming into our tabletop position, maybe bring those knees a little bit closer if they ended up being far away, and then step the left foot to the back of the mat, dig the toe into the earth, move the hips around, shift forwards, backwards. So even here, if you are in a home that has other people in it, you know, it can be really challenging where we're still giving so much of ourselves to the people around us. Slowly lift up the left foot at hip height. And again, you might lift up high and low. And then find that neutral position, a slight tuck of the pelvis. Draw the belly button into the spine. Push the ground away with the hands. Empower that strength within our body, knowing that any modifications you take, it's a sign of wisdom.
To take a modification is a place of beauty. Just to know our own boundaries. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, curl the knee into the chest, round the back, and then slowly step that left foot to the front of your mat. Again, grabbing onto blocks if you have them. Maybe wiggle the left toes forward and just explore what it's like to find this low lunge. Draw the shoulders away from the ears without sinking into the joints. Empower front heel and back knee to squeeze in towards each other. Take a deep breath in and out. And just one more deep breath in. And then slowly on your exhale, let the hips press back. Move as if you're in water. So there's this gracefulness that happens within the body. And we want to move as effortlessly as possible, with as much compassion as we can into our body as possible, because the world might not always offer us compassion. So we must offer ourselves this kind of compassion. Take one more deep breath in, and if it feels okay for you, just fold over the left leg, letting the forehead go towards the knee. As you inhale, plant the left foot down on the mat, move those blocks to the front, drop the right hand down, and then slowly start to twist open, letting the left arm reach up to the sky, shoulders away from the ears. And the difference between right side to left side is everything. So it happens on one side. Even if it's the same posture, it's different because it's a different side. So we meet it as if it's the first time we're doing it, even if it's the 1,000,000th time. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, release the left hand down and step left knee back. Let the big toes touch and press your hips back towards your heels to come into your child's pose and explore what it's like for your body to move, to shift, to rock. Just give yourself a deep breath in and out. On your inhale, gently press yourself up, tabletop position. Gently tuck the toes and lift the hips back and up, coming into a super soft down dog. Now, if down dog doesn't feel good for you today, you might come into more of a wide-legged position with just the fingertips reaching forward. Or maybe hands might come onto blocks or on top of that chair, if you have one, like the stool I showed from the beginning. The whole point of down dog is to find an opening from the whole back line of the body. And so how we do that doesn't have to fit within that exact posture. We can get really creative with it. And slowly, I want you to bend your knees and walk your hands back towards your feet, coming into a forward fold. If your feet were wide, walk them in towards each other to about hip distance apart. Now, if your back is super tender today, you might bring forearms to your thighs. Or if you feel like, I'm ready for it, come into ragdoll position, grabbing onto opposite elbows. Let the torso rock from side to side. Shake out the head, yes and no. Noticing what you allow in your life, like what you give space for, whether it's a physical thing, a mental thing. And what are the things that you can surrender to and let go of? Slide your hands to your thighs, bend the knees on your inhale. As you exhale, roll up to standing. Inhale, arms sweep up to the sky. And then exhale, hands come to our heart space. Maybe coming back to the intention that you set for yourself today. Notice what it feels like to find this shift of perspective, standing, owning the space that you have. Owning isn't always fighting for something, but going with the flow of life, of the moment. As you inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. As you exhale, Sink down, forward fold, but find a chair on your way down, letting the belly hit the thighs, roll over the legs. One little quick halfway lift. See what that feels like as you just gently transition from posture to posture. The transition is just as important as the posture we're creating. So our hands are on our shins, blocks, thighs, whatever feels right for you. You're drawing your shoulders away from your ears and your chest comes up to this lifted position. Open up the heart space, dial the shoulders away from the ears, and maybe lift the corners of your mouth. See what that feels like. And then as you exhale, release the hands down to the mat, relax down. And slowly walking the hands forward, come into your tabletop position, relaxing the tops of the feet, and just start to circle out those hips a few times, going in both directions. See what it feels like to move the hips, to tuck the pelvis, to move within the girdle of the shoulder. There's no such thing in my world as being dirty or having dirty body parts unless you're just not showered. That's another whole story. But unless you're just moving and expressing your body, that's a beautiful thing. And by us finding the confidence to move our bodies and to be free, we allow for others to have the same permission. And isn't that what we all want, is to just find peace and be happy and free? Go in the opposite position if you didn't, direction, try something different. And then slowly take your time. We're gonna come back onto our glutes, and I'll face you. Come into that Sukhasana position, that cross-legged position. Now, if this doesn't feel good for you, you can come into a kneeling position and sit on a block, lifting up through the crown of the head, and then slowly twist open to the left side. You're gonna keep the right hand on the right knee. Left hand is gonna go behind the back. Roll to the front of your sits bones and press your chest forward. Soften the jaw, soften the shoulders. Notice how you greet every posture. Sometimes we have an attitude like we need to get this posture, this stretch. So is it ego that moves us through what we're trying to do? Or is it curiosity? And it can shift very quickly from one to the other. Inhale, slowly come back to center. Left hand to the left knee, right hand behind the back. And know that this is a practice. So what happens in this practice, what we learn, what evolves within us, maybe it's just a pause of breath before a reaction that we have. Maybe it's just a way of being gentler with our body, with our minds. And that spreads. Inhale, slowly come back to center. You're going to take and bring the left hand all the way across to the right knee. Sweep the right hand up to the sky, and then drop the left shoulder towards the left knee. If this feels really aggressive for any part of you, just soften, especially that left arm. It doesn't have to reach. As you inhale, let that right hand reach up to the sky and then float it down. Right hand goes to the left thigh or stays on the same side. That left arm sweeps up to the sky. Relax the shoulders. And as you exhale, see if you can reach over towards that right side. And maybe look up towards the ceiling. You can feel the stretch as you anchor down through the left hip. You might feel a little bit more opening, a little bit more sensitivity within the body. As you inhale, come on up. And as you exhale, float the left hand behind you and let the right hand go back. The feet are going to come forward and your knees are going to be bent. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, drop the knees over towards the right. A gentle gaze over towards the left. Inhale, slowly come back to center. And as you exhale, bring it over to the opposite side. Knees drop over to the left. A gaze might look over to the right. Internal rotation of the hips. One more time. Inhale, knees lift. Exhale over towards the right. And if you get an adjustment or two, it's okay. We don't want to force anything, but our body shifts and moves. Inhale up and exhale. And if it feels like too much of a twist, you can always use your foot. So my left foot can go underneath my right knee as it goes over to the left side. So you have your own human block. Inhale, come on up. And then to come on down, you could either come down nice and slowly on your side or grab onto the knee pits and start to roll your back down towards the mat. And as you do, squeeze those knees in towards your chest. And we're gonna find a figure 4 right here. Left foot to the earth, right ankle is gonna cross on top of the thigh. Use your right hand and just press the knee and the hip away. Give yourself a deep breath here. As you exhale, keeping the cross of the legs, hug them into the chest. Now, I personally like to grab onto my right knee and my right foot with my left and right hand. And the left knee is just helping to press the weight in. If you feel better, interlacing your hands behind the back of the left leg, see if you can relax the shoulders so they're doing less. Less is more. Give yourself a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, release the left foot down, uncross the right ankle, and we'll switch to the other side. Left ankle crosses on top of the right thigh. Encourage that external opening. So use the left hand to press anywhere on the leg that feels good for you. So it could be closer to the hip. That might feel nice. This can create space, especially in the lower back if we're seated a lot. On your next exhale, keeping the cross, hug the legs into the chest. And I'm always a shifter. So once I find a position, I roll around in it, notice where there feels like a deeper sense of opening. You know, we tell kids not to wiggle, and it's a shame because wiggling is a lot of information that we're downloading and digesting, and I will wiggle until forever. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, release the feet down to the mat. Now hug the knees into the chest, and we're gonna let the legs drop open towards the right side, finding a twist. You might bring a pillow that you have, a blanket, a block, anything in between the legs that might feel nice. If you notice the left shoulder is super high, press into both elbows in the back of the head and wiggle your back into a place of more comfort. And then just give yourself 2 breaths right here, softening the jaw, soften the eyes. Let the breath flow in and out. Notice how in this twisted position, it might be a little bit more challenging to take in a full breath. And isn't that what life is kind of about? When we're in a tighter situation, it might not be physically, but it could be mentally. It's hard for us to fill our body. So how do we make that work for us? As you inhale, lift up both knees. And as you exhale, we're going to drop them over towards the left, situating, wiggling, again, pressing into both of those elbows, making sure that both of those shoulders are comfortable. And it might mean that you offer support underneath that right shoulder if it's super high. The right arm doesn't have to be extended. It could be resting on top of the right ribs if that feels like a better place for you. Soften the face. Notice the breath. Notice textures under your fingers. Exposed skin, where it meets air. Is it cool or hot? Just give yourself 1 more breath. And slowly let the knees lift. Give them 1 more squeeze into the chest. And we're gonna come into our comfortable position for Yoga Nidra. So I would suggest taking a blanket, pillow, anything, and letting it rest or letting your legs rest on top of it, especially the knees, so that they're super supported. You can also do it if you had a bolster at home. I'd be very jealous, but you can also bring a bolster with your blocks under. If you have 2 blocks and you don't have a bolster, you can still find a pretty comfortable position here where you have the taller block further away and then the other one, and you might have to adjust them about, I would say 4 inches away, and you can rest here if you want to be in a more upright position. That can feel pretty wonderful too. And you could also put a pillow on top of it. It's a lot of hullabaloo, but to find comfort in this position for Yoga Nidra is great. So it's a gift that you give yourself. So once you're in this position, I want you to allow for your eyes to close. And again, if you come in and out of awareness, there's no pressure. You might want to close any kind of blinds or lights off. And just let your body sink into the floor. Get as comfortable as you can. If you want to shift or move, and let your body settle even deeper, feeling that the earth underneath you is rising up to support. Everything in this moment is okay. At this moment, nothing else matters. Everything is okay. There's nowhere to go and nothing to do. And you're simply here to feel and to listen. And don't become worried or agitated if you don't hear everything I say. It is natural to flow in and out of conscious hearing. The deepest part of you, your core, is always listening. And whatever your experience today, this practice will still work. There is no way to do it wrong. Simply just listen without trying too hard. You are in a safe environment, a protected space. Just come into stillness and remain still for a deep, rested, for a deep nourishment. Just feel the natural breath, the breath that flows through you. Allow your bones to become heavy. Feel your body sinking into the earth. Release any kind of sense of holding and be heavy. Let the body sink. Now go deep inside. Notice your heart's deepest longing. What does your heart desire? See if you can create an intention, an affirmation based upon your heart's desire. A positive statement in the present tense, although it's already, as though it's already happening. For example, I flow with life in ease and peace. I am relaxed. And use this phrase or come up with your own intention. State it 3 times silently, as though it's already happening. Allow your awareness to travel through your body on a journey of sensation. Simply feel each part as it's mentioned, and without moving, just remain still. Welcome all sensation just as it is. Begin with your mouth. Feel your mouth. Feel sensation in your mouth. Feel your jaw, your lips, your upper lip, your lower lip. Notice where the lips touch. Feel the inside of your mouth, roof, under the tongue, the upper teeth and gums, lower teeth and gums, the tongue, the root of the tongue, the center of the tongue, the tip. Notice the sense of taste in the mouth. Feel the left inner cheek, the right inner cheek. Now all the parts together as a whole. Feel your mouth as sensation, as energy, as radiant vibration. Feel your nose. Notice the nostrils, the left nostril, the right, both. Notice the breath, the nasal passages, and follow them all the way into your head. Become aware of your ears, your right ear, your left, both of them simultaneously. Feel the wrinkles and folds, the backs, the earlobes, the canals. Notice the ears receiving sound, listening. Feel your ears hearing. Feel your eyes, the right eye, the left eye, both eyes together. Notice the eyelids, where the eyelids touch. Become aware of the surface of the eyes, the centers. Notice the backs. Feel your eyes now as energy, radiant, glowing embers. Bring your awareness to your crown, your forehead, your face, your whole head. Feel your neck, back of your neck, the sides of your neck, your throat. Notice your right palm, thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, or fourth finger. Feel your whole hand alive with energy. Feel your wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, the whole shoulder. The notch at the base of your throat. Notice your left palm, the thumb, the first finger, the second finger, the third finger, and the fourth finger. Feel your whole hand alive and filled with sensation. Feel your left wrist, your forearm, your elbow, your upper arm, your whole shoulder. Notice the notch at the base of your throat. Become aware of the upper chest, the upper back. Feel your heart center. Notice the abdomen, the ribs. Notice the belly, navel center, pelvis, hips. Feel your right hip, thigh, knee, the lower leg, calf, ankle, foot, toes, the sole of the foot, the whole foot. Notice again the pelvis, the left hip, thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, foot, toes, the sole of the foot, the whole foot. Feel now the back body resting on the earth. Bring awareness to the whole body. The sensation fills it and it is alive with vibration. Feel the front body filled with a radiant vibration. Pour your awareness like liquid into the body. This complete body. Feel sensation throughout the entire body. Notice your breath, your natural breath as it flows through you. Notice how the belly rises and falls. As you exhale, imagine a wave passing downward throughout your body, letting it carry any tension away. And as you inhale, a fresh wave flows upward through your whole body, bringing a sense of calm to every cell. As you exhale, the wave flows downward, carrying away the fears. As you inhale, a fresh wave comes upward, bringing serenity. Remember your heart's longing statement. Repeat it again 3 times as the present truth, 3 times to yourself. It is the truth. Now notice the back body, the part that's facing and pressing into the earth. Feel all the places where you touch the ground. Notice the front body facing skyward. Notice all of the space that surrounds you. Let your body expand wider into the space that surrounds you. Breath meeting breath, the rhythm of you. And slowly offer yourself a deep breath in and let the breath wash over you. And another deep breath in to fill the lungs. and to let it go. Before you start moving your body, just sense the body first. Sense it and notice it, and then invite that curiosity back in to wiggle fingers and toes and notice the sensations that linger in the body, what it feels like to reintroduce movement after stillness. You might wiggle toes, letting the head rock side to side in this gentle and slow awakening of the body. Imagining every inhale you take in is this white, bright light. And as you let it go, that wave washes away. And invite your body to move over into one side or the other into a fetal position. And then gently use your top hand to press yourself up to seated, being very kind. Stacking the hands on the heart space or coming into Anjali Mudra prayer position. Just bowing your head, becoming aware. May you lean into the sensations. May you let the seed of compassion be rooted deeply, sprouting onto others. May you find peace. May you find your breath. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight, for showing up as you are and being who you are. All that I am bows to all that is within you. Namaste.